get your feelings hurt. Read this.
Welcome to Short Film Roundup.
Hi, Short Film Roundup. Welcome, everyone.
Just on
Let's
your
do one without an accent.
Our Short Film Roundup.
That was that's the wrong episode.
Throwback. Short Film Roundup. Hi, welcome to Short Film Roundup. Here we are, guys. Hi.
Hey.
Oh, and
still
you
here.
too. Hey, welcome.
Still here.
Back here at the Void.
Coming to you live from Payman's Void of Nothingness.
He says that, but it's not.
We bring you another episode of Short Film Roundup where the three of us, Kenny, D, Taylor, are going to review a user-submitted short film. Short films coming from you guys.
Yes.
You send them to us, and we have to review them.
We have to.
We don't have a choice.
We are cursed to do so.
Yeah.
For eternity.
Sometimes it's a blessing. Sometimes it's quite challenging.
So, speaking of challenging, so today we have a film called, I already forgot what it was called.
Key to consumption.
Key to consumption?
I don't know.
Key to consumption.
Conception.
The key to conception?
For today's film, we have a short film called Key to Consumption, directed, written, and produced by Curtis Stout.
Yep.
There is a link in the description. If you click it, you can watch the film, and then you too can join us and review it.
Watch the film.
Yeah.
You need to watch
Definitely
it.
watch the film.
Definitely watch it.
Go watch it now.
We've returned.
Did you watch it?
I hope so, because otherwise this review would make no sense. So,
All right. Let's review this movie.
let's reveal this movie.
Do you want to start us off, D?
I shall. Started off with Jack. So this movie was another this guy. I just got. Let's just get this out of the way real quick.
Yeah.
Sado 48. Those of you who don't
we
know,
had a film from this before.
Yeah.
those of you who don't know, Sado 48 is a 48-hour online film festival that we have had one before, and that's where we investigated just to see.
It's Springfield and the Ozarks.
Yes. We don't like covering 48-hour film festivals for a myriad of reasons, but basically because they make us feel like we don't give a fair review.
Yeah, because we're always stuck saying, oh, well, it's good for a 48-hour film effort.
Because then we have to cap our expectations.
Yeah, and we're not going to do that. We're going to throw out completely the fact that this was made in 48 hours because we're here to review a short film.
Yep.
Correct. So everything that we judge here is based on merit, not of time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Also, do you want to tell us the comment of the filmmaker who submitted it?
Yeah. The filmmaker submitted this with the knowledge that there are flaws in the film, and so the film is flawed.
So let me tell you, Mr. Stout, we did find a lot of flaws in it, and we're going to be as honest as we can and forthcoming, pointing out everything that we found wrong with the film.
Yeah.
Because I will be forward and say that we found a lot wrong with the film.
And ultimately, we do this because it's good for you and it's good for us. It's good for everyone who watches the movie. So don't feel like we're being mean or aggressive. Ultimately, if it feels like we're laughing at you, know that we're also laughing at ourselves. We've made plenty of gigantic mistakes in our work as the years have gone by. So it's nothing we haven't experienced ourselves.
Exactly.
So that being said, prepare to be roasted.
Okay.
Just null and void that
So-
whole
Now, kill him.
So, getting straight to business here. We immediately open after this shot with a dialogue scene. And the first thing we all saw with this dialogue scene is that we are hopping the 180 over and over and over.
Yeah.
The geography is a mess.
The basic 180 rule is not followed in this scene.
it was made worse by the fact that we never had a shot of these two people together.
Right.
That alone could have made up a little bit of this 180 problem.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this scene takes up half the movie, just about.
Yeah, and and when you break the 180 rule, the problem is it looks like these two people are not talking to each other. They look like they're looking in opposite directions, not at each other.
Right.
It looks like they're looking at a third character that we don't see.
Exactly.
That problem was further. It was made worse by the fact that we never had a shot of these two people together.
Right.
That alone could have made up a little bit of this 180 problem, or at least an over-the-shoulder shot. So, I mean, it really feels like these two were shot separately at different times and edited together. There's just no evidence to tell us that they're in the same room.
Right. There's one way to hint, because sometimes it's hard for me, just as a cinematographer, to get down the 180. It's not spatially easy.
It's not intuitive.
Yeah,
it's like math. I mean, you got to think about it.
So with that being said, one trick that I like to do is make sure that the characters aren't facing the same side of the screen. So you can see his eyes are facing over here to the left, and if we look at the other guy, he's facing the exact same time to the left.
Yeah.
So if he's facing to the right, suddenly they're connected, and we make sense. One way around this is you can mirror one of the shots. There was one time that we had to do that with a film that I shot called, I don't remember what it's called, but anyway, but we mirrored one of the shots, and it was fine. It made the whole thing sense.
Unless you have a calendar on the wall in the background, which will then be all backwards.
Right, but that's why you do this shot.
That'd be a funny detail.
Your lightning continuity would be off also.
Yeah.
But it does make better geography sense.
As long as you have a symmetrical face.
Let's talk a little bit about what they're talking about here.
Yeah. So the first time we watched this through, we had to come back and
we watched this scene 3 times because it was very hard to figure out what was happening.
Yeah, we had a hard time following what they were saying, and a lot of the dialogue, I don't know, it was just the way it was delivered, and maybe the microphone or something made it hard to understand some of the words.
I have comment about the way it was delivered.
Yeah.
The first thing he says here, this character, is, as my friend Tom used to say, enchanté.
I think that's what he says, yeah.
He says something in French, but the way he says it, because this is the first time the audience has ever heard him speak, we're assuming he's just going to speak English. And then he says something in French, but he says it with such a thick accent that is his accent. His American accent. Yeah. So he says, as my friend Tom used to say, enchanté.
And it's like, did he just mumble?
Like, what is he talking about?
And then the other character starts saying, don't quote Shakespeare to me. And we're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, did he talk about Shakespeare?
Did he talk about Shakespeare? And then he's talking about, that was French. And you're like, what was French? So things start falling behind.
Yeah. Another basic thing is the editing needed L and J cuts. There were a couple L cuts, but just in case you're not aware, it's just where you leave audio lingering as you cut to a shot. So it's not like a whole clip ends with the audio and the line done.
It felt like a noticeable gap was in between every sentence they spoke, like they were leaving space for the next person to say their line.
Yeah, it's just not
natural. It makes it feel very stagey and unnatural.
Yeah, exactly that. Very much. One problem, unless did you have another comment?
I was going to get into the writing next, I think.
We can do that. I was going to talk about context here for a second. Like Kenny said, we watched this film about 3 times, right?
Yeah.
It was
we watched it through all the way probably twice. But we watched the beginning about 3 times.
Yeah. So the beginning made sense after we watched the end.
Yeah.
And this is a hard thing for writers to do for early writers, is that when they write something without context, they think it makes sense because of the context in their head, but they haven't said anything yet. Yeah. So what ends up happening is either A, it's mysterious, or A, it's mysterious, or B, it's confusing.
You're confusing.
And this I felt like was more confusing than mysterious.
Yeah,
because of the language.
Well, I mean, there were key elements of the story that are just not on the screen, and that's a big problem. There were at least 3 things that were important moments that weren't shot. They happened, but they weren't shot. For example, here, the guy wants proof that he was chosen randomly. That is one of those moments that we actually didn't figure out what was happening until we watched it 3 times. But he says, hey, how do you know it was chosen randomly? And then the guy says, I was sent this. And what we figured out eventually is he was sent a video on his phone, and he hands the phone over and he watches a clip of his name being drawn from a hat. However, there's an important thing not shown on the screen, and it's the phone.
It's the phone.
Yeah. We have no visual proof that there is a phone or that he's giving him a phone. He just says, I got this, and then we cut to a full screen shot of the hat as if he's holding the hat.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it looks like. It looks like he's saying, well, I got this, and he hands him a hat. He's handing him a hat.
He's handing him a hat. And then the guy...
And he's like, okay, let me shake this hat.
Right.
He pulls out his own name.
Yeah.
I literally thought that's
what I thought too. Yeah. 2 times, because we don't see the phone.
Yeah.
There's like 1 or 2 frames where the corner of the phone is there.
And this was the weirdest thing.
Watch his arm.
Because of where his hand is.
Oh, we missed it.
Did we miss it?
Oh. Huh? Oh, we're confused.
Okay, so his arm's way over there. And now it's over there.
His arm bends in an S shape to reach him on his head.
Again, that's a 180 thing. It just feels really weird. Also, that's just kind of a weird action anyway.
It's just
that was a weird action.
Shot, yeah.
Oh, sure, my
yeah.
Dialogue. So, like, Quentin Tarantino comes to mind because, like, Pulp Fiction is all about the really cool setting up stuff. He likes
context. To open movies with long dialogue scenes like
stuff
this
just
too.
like this, you know.
Yeah.
And all the language and stuff. The language felt. I usually have no problem with language, but when it's done like this, where it was just like gratuitous,
it felt forced.
It felt very forced. And it didn't really add any character to the film, and it actually made me think the film was a very, very serious movie. I thought this was a very heavy, like they're taking themselves seriously drama.
I did too.
And I did too. You don't get an inkling of the fact that this is a comedy, and I believe I'm assuming correctly now that this
or a dramedy
actually is meant to be funny.
Yeah. I mean, they have lighthearted stuff in the.
You have no clue until almost the very end. I mean, the last scene is the 3 guys sitting in front of the microwave eating, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that key thing, haha," and it's totally a joke. It's a gag scene. So it's like, whoa.
And it feels completely out of place.
Was this supposed to be funny?
Right. Yeah, we're...
I mean, if you're going to do funny, then you got to set up for funny.
Yeah.
And the setup and the second act are not funny.
Yeah. No. Let's talk about this.
Oh, this was really fun. Yeah.
So it's always a shame when your props and your set decor look cheesy, right? But sometimes you have to do it, right? Sure. You're like, oh, I got to put a number on the door. Except when the dude gives him the number of the room, he says, here's the room number. He slides a piece of paper over. We don't see what it says.
Yeah.
We don't see that it says 1101. You didn't have to put a number on this door.
Right.
Unless it's a 48-hour film festival thing.
Unless it's a requirement.
Oh. Yeah.
See, this is why we
because
don't
they have these stupid rules where they're like, you have to include the number 1101 or something lame like that. But the fact is, there's no reason this number has to be on this door. So why break the whole story? Why break our immersion by putting paper on a door?
Right, because
so obviously looks fake.
Not real.
Unless this is meant to be a cheeseball comedy, Monty Python-esque, where we see a guy holding a boom in the background or something.
In which case you would add more gags like that.
Yeah, but we haven't given any inkling that that's the case.
Yeah. They kind of poke fun at the key thing at the end.
I don't understand the key thing at all.
The key to consumption.
Well, they mail him the key, but then the key that he gets mailed at the beginning of the film ends up not mattering because the guy shows up to his house and gives him another key. Then he uses that key.
That was really confusing to me.
Yeah, so he gives him a key. He's holding a key. And then when he leaves, he's like, "Here's the key."
He says, "There's the key." Yep, right there.
Yeah.
but I can't make
the
out.
scene
if it's
started
the same
with him having a key in his hand.
Yeah, so that was really weird.
I don't get it.
This was also weird in the very beginning, right after this part, where we see him holding the key. We hear the doorbell, and he says, "Come in," and then immediately he enters frame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really weird.
The front door to the house is just right there, just right on the edge of the frame.
Yeah, I mean, just things like, maybe waiting a couple seconds.
And honestly, if you're in a death cult, if you're in a death cult where they randomly choose people to sacrifice and I think
cannibalism,
do you just say "come in" when someone rings your doorbell?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I would think he's a little on the very nervous side.
I like your beard.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Mr. Actor. Awesome. I like that beard. I can't grow a beard like that.
You're just jealous of him?
I'm totally beard envious. All right, let's talk about the whole ceremony here. So for a guy who is like pissed off that he's been randomly chosen to be murdered.
He's very cooperative.
He's super, he just walks in, unbuttons his shirt. He's like, well, here we go. This is going to hurt, isn't it? I'm a little scared. Well, he's going to die, right?
Yeah. But so that's something that would totally work if this was broadcasted as a comedy.
Right.
Right. Or if we had a little bit more story development and we find out that these are like zealots who are actually excited to die for some weird reason.
So actually, I was thinking while because he was giving such stilted, like, dialogue at that point where he's like, "It's going to hurt a little bit." Like, I felt like he's like an alien or something. Yeah. That he's waiting to get, moved on to something else.
Yeah. All right. Here's the most problematic 2 shots of the whole movie. Yeah. This guy volunteers, and he's like, okay, you get this sword. You get the blade. But here's the problem.
Oh, this follows the 180, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. But here's another turn where the important part is out of frame. So where he's grabbing the hilt is out of frame, so it looks like he magically balances it on the tips of his fingers. He's like, woo!
Yeah, it looks like he's defying gravity.
Watch this. Amazing. Wow. And then
immediately after
that
this,
we have a ghost who vanishes. And then this dude comes into frame, even though he was already in the previous shot. So it's like, what's happening?
Yeah, I really don't understand what's going on there.
It's
really confusing
here. So the balancing and then the vanishing
and then this is really a shame.
Kind of looks cool though.
That did look cool.
I love the aesthetic here.
A big shame here is when he brings down the knife. So just skip ahead just a little bit.
Yeah.
When he's gonna bring down the knife, you can very clearly see him hold back before it cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stops.
You can see him stopping his stab. And I'm assuming that's because the camera operator is sitting right underneath him.
Right.
Which you don't have to do.
Right.
You could line up a camera, you could put a block of wood, a cabbage or something there that he could literally just drive that knife all the way through.
Go back a little bit. The cabbage, that's a good idea.
Oh, it makes a good sound too.
Go ahead and play it and pause it when I tell you. Okay. Now. Okay. Sorry, I didn't time it right. My point is, after the sirens pass, my point is, had you even just cut like 2 frames earlier, it would have looked better.
2 frames earlier?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I love
there.
that shadow, by the way.
Just like around there where it had the motion blur in there.
Right.
It would have solved the problem.
It would have, yeah, because waiting till he freezes, it's not good.
There's some kind of joke here about the key.
Yeah.
That I just still don't get.
Well, so when the guy, he said, if you guys were here, why did I need a key?
Yeah. They're just poking fun at themselves.
Yeah. It's really like the most minimal kind of plot hole, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like basically, hey, if his friends were there the whole time, why does he need a key?
Why don't we just acknowledge it and make a joke out of it instead of...
Boy, there are certainly other plot holes they could have acknowledged and made better jokes out of. So, if it's a cannibal cult, are they eating him on toast right now?
They made a pizza out of him.
Is that like?
That looks like toast
it looks like
jam.
bagel pizza or something. I don't know what it is, but the fact is,
looks good.
The way it cut straight from stabbing to eating.
Yeah, made you think, oh, they're eating.
The movie's called Key to Consumption, and he already made a reference to eating human flesh.
Yeah.
So is this supposed to be First question: are they eating him?
I think so.
Here,
because it does not.
It looks like bread.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I think that is what it's supposed to be. I had something to say. Oh, this film genuinely inspired me to want to make a cult film.
Oh yeah,
I've got one for you.
Yeah,
I've got one.
I think you've told me about it. The one.
Oh, you know the one.
The one.
I'm not gonna let you know here.
It's called The Circle. Has Tom Hanks in it.
No.
Ooh.
I heard the movie sucked. Did it suck? Did you see it?
I haven't seen it.
No one has seen it.
Bad pizza rating.
Now what?
Now what? Is there any more to say about this film?
I mean, more things are just like...
Other than it looked kind of fun, there is...
Like dialogue delivery.
This film is just a mess.
I mean, like the guy here on the table, again, he sounds bored when he's speaking.
Yeah, we don't have...
Like, he doesn't sound frightful. He doesn't sound excited. He just sounds like he's just saying lines. And when that comes down to it, it's a director and an actor thing. You know, one person could make it better.
Yeah.
And neither did.
You know, good performances rely on having good characters, which also rely on having good dialogue.
Strong writing.
All those pieces,
all that,
you know, rely on each other for anything to work, and none of those things were really here.
Yeah.
And the cinematography was, frankly...
it was basic.
Just confusing.
A lot of it was confusing. The geography in here was just very weird.
Did they go higher frame rate for that scene?
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Not
you know what?
here.
This whole thing, actually...
Just when they moved in towards him on the...
Like, in the beginning here, I felt like this was 30 frames, but I think it's actually 25. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
One too many.
Guy.
You know
but I think it's
saying?
25 frames per second because this may not have been shot around here.
Okay, so with
Questions?
the 48-hour film festival thing, tell us all the silly rules you had to follow. So
Probably had to do with a key.
something with a key,
Wait a second.
number 1101.
There's one more thing I have. And
Uh-oh.
this is a nitpick from me. This guy right here.
His accent.
Yeah.
He shows up and goes into British accent, which again, it was like, okay, comedy, I guess.
I believe this is yours.
I believe this is yours.
That's
I don't think he was
true accent, right?
He wasn't British when he answered the door.
So, like, was that supposed to be a joke?
I guess. That's what I mean. It's trying very hard to be funny
I don't know.
in a movie that takes itself very seriously.
It's pretty dark, yeah. I mean, even one of your actors, the guy here, like, this guy delivers all his lines dead straight.
Yeah, he's deadpan the whole movie.
And that makes it feel just very heavy. Which is good, actually. I feel like he's a pretty good actor, but
I felt like it should have been a heavy movie.
you're right. That's it. That's
like honestly, this could have been a lot more interesting if redheaded beard dude, if he had a reaction that merited what was about to happen to him.
Yeah.
And this just got heavier and heavier and more dramatic.
Yeah.
Then I think the rest of it glues together better.
I think so too. Yeah.
Or the first two acts needed to be much sillier, much more playful.
Yeah.
Definitely. This.
Oh my gosh. Taylor's speechless. That's never happened.
I just want to make it.
You feel bad?
Yeah, just a little bit because
he's trying to
I don't want
apologize
to.
for honesty.
Yeah, I always do that. I just.
You're a nice guy.
Oh, you're holding back. Can we show that side by side? That was amazing.
It's clear to me that you guys probably have not made many films, and so I just keep it up, make more films, just keep making films.
No, I definitely want to
practice
see
and all that.
Yeah,
I definitely want to see where you guys go from.
And our review and feedback is not meant as a burn, you know.
None of it, yeah.
It's meant to help you
Yeah.
make a better movie than on your next go around.
Yeah.
And it always informs us too.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
And everyone who watches our shows, which increases every week. So the mistakes that we make, the mistakes that you make, it all helps us all, and especially you, to become better filmmakers.
Make a short film that has no stipulations. Don't do a 48-hour one.
Mm-hmm.
You can in the future. I'm not saying don't ever. I'm just saying make something on your own terms and then send it to us because I want to see it.
Do that and do it with no dialogue.
Yeah, no dialogue. Send it to us.
He says no dialogue for a reason.
Yeah,
only
and
stipulation.
Visual storytelling. That's the only stipulation. Yeah.
Yeah.
No stipulation, no
He just
dialogue.
made a stipulation.
I know. I made a stipulation. Yeah.
No stipulation, dude. I got
No
one. For you.
But that's like the only like really really valid stipulation. That's actually a valuable experience to do.
Because it makes you. So 48-hour film festivals they have one good thing about them.
Yeah.
The one virtue about them is they make you finish a movie.
Yes.
Right.
And so many, I know plenty of people who still go around calling themselves filmmakers who have been chasing around an idea for 10 years trying to get it made.
Right.
And have never made anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And to have something done is just a huge accomplishment in itself. So
Yes.
48-hour film festivals are good for that. But that's it. Other than that, I find them completely obnoxious. But the idea of making a film without dialogue can do so much for you because it forces you to tell a story visually, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this one it's so on the nose. Everything is explained to us by a person with words, and there's a time and a place for that in movies.
Absolutely.
But this is first and foremost visual medium. It's a visual storytelling. If you can turn off the visuals and just listen and know what happens in a movie, we're wasting our time with the movie, I think.
It depends. Yeah. But generally yes.
Again, like a Quentin Tarantino thing, he's a guy who obviously does dialogue super super well. He established himself in that way.
It's a little different from him because the way he uses dialogue is to show something.
Yeah.
He's still very much a visual storyteller.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just because one of his signature things is to have long dialogue scenes, that's not his whole movie.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
You remember Palau?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah, Palau is a very dialogue-driven movie, and you could turn off the picture and know exactly what's happening the entire time.
That's true.
Yeah, so they do come in, they can play out, but it's generally accepted that a film needs to be visual.
Cool.
Any more questions for these guys?
I don't have any more. No.
So tell us the stipulations. Tell us where we're missing the parts of the story that we're not getting right. I'd love to have you explain those gaps.
Yeah, like the 1101 number. I want to know what's up with that.
Yeah.
And the stipulations that you had for the Sato thing.
Yeah. And tell us what you're working on next.
Yeah.
And send us one.
Yes.
A new one without dialogue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's next on the...
Okay. On to the next.
You know what's funny is that I kind of forgot we were in the void there for a second.
Yeah.
Well, you know what we're in real life or something?
We really do enjoy what we do here sometimes.
Yeah, it's funny. I can see both ends, but I feel like it keeps getting longer.
We have a long way to go. Why don't we take a break?
Okay.
I mean, we've been reviewing short films for like 18 hours straight.
I want to get like a haircut anyway. So
yeah.
Do you still have the scissors?
Yeah. Yeah. You want a haircut?
Yeah.
All right. Let me go sharpen my knife.
Right here, right.
These will work.
Yeah.
We'll cut your hair.
Cool.
Right after this.
Right.
So.
Right after what?
As you can tell, we've got a lot of work to do. So we certainly are not encouraging you to submit your short film to us and add it to this list so that we could do a review of your work and just yours, your very own episode. We're not recommending that you do that by...
There's a form that is in the description. We don't put it there. Payman does. We'd really rather you not fill it out with your information and your link to your film and send it to us because then
we're not encouraging you to do that.
And it's not that we don't want to see your film. It's just that we want to get out of the void.
Yeah, I mean, it just sucks down here. I mean, so, don't expect us to have another episode Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And definitely don't go see our subreddit Karmanlinestudios. Don't go to our Facebook page or other Facebook group, which is called Short Film Cooperative. It's just the more you keep up with us, the longer we have to stay.
The more work we have to do.
Yeah, and we really it's kind of sucks here.
Yeah. So
don't smash the like button.
You can do us a solid by just leaving us alone, or you can torture us more by sending us your short film.
Yes.
Thank you again for watching. Thanks for submitting your film to us, and we will see you next time here from the void on Short Film Roundup.
See you.
Oh, there's cops in the void.
There's what?
Do you hear that?
Oh, fire. There's a fire.